Hi, I'm Wendy Lowy Sloan, and this is What's Up with Wendy's podcast. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I began my career in New York City as a television producer for talk show legends Phil Donahue and Geraldo Rivera. And for the last decade, I've used these experiences to create my unique style in interviewing hundreds of A-list celebrities, newsmakers, comedians, musicians, reality stars, fitness and nutrition experts, best-selling authors, and so much more. So I hope you enjoy this wide variety on my podcast. I hope you'll share and subscribe. And again, thanks for tuning in. My special guest today, best known for portraying the iconic character Erica Kane on the ABC's daytime drama series All My Children from 1970 to 2011. She is one of my favorite people in the planet. It was in 1993 that I first met her. It was one of the greatest moments in my career history. I was working for Phil Donahue. We were having the cast of All My Children on, and I flew my parents from Florida to see the show to surprise them, especially my mom, because we had watched that show together forever. So it was one of the greatest memories in my career and one of the moments that I'll remember forever. So I'm so happy to have her today. Emmy-Award winning actress Susan Lucci. She's here to discuss a very, very important topic with medical expert Dr. Stacey Rosen. In the fall of 2018, she suddenly experienced chest discomfort and had a life-threatening heart episode. So we're going to be talking about heart health today. You won't want to miss this. It's very important. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of What's Up with Wendy. Please subscribe and share with your friends. It was the show I watched religiously with my mom, the beloved soap opera that aired for over 40 years. Today, my guest, known for portraying the iconic and most beloved Erica Kane on the ABC daytime drama All My Children, Emmy Award-winning actress Susan Lucci is joining me, and alongside of her, from the American Heart Association volunteer medical expert, Dr. Stacey Rosen. Thank you both for being here so much on this very important topic.
Thank you, Wendy. Good morning.
Good morning. Before we even start, I know we're going to be discussing the underrepresentation and the economic benefits of investing in women's health research. I have to just take us back to 1993. I worked for the Phil Donahue show, and we had the cast of All My Children coming onto the show, and it was a surprise. I flew my parents here, and Susan, you were there, and it was the very first time I had met you, and it was one of the most memorable moments in my career. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I haven't spoken to you since then, so I'm so happy you're here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Wendy. What a wonderful memory. Thank you very much. It's interesting that you mentioned the year 1993, because it wasn't until 1993 that Congress, an act of Congress, it took an act of Congress to mandate that female mice were included in research. Never mind women.
Wait, so they weren't included?
They were not included until an act of Congress in 1993.
Isn't that remarkable? That's unbelievable. Let's start with you, Dr. Rosen. Why is it so important to increase funding in women's health research, and what are the economic benefits?
No, thank you. As Susan said, we always historically had a male model for healthcare, for scientific research, for healthcare delivery, and it actually took an act of Congress for us to realize women make up 51% of the population. Yet when we looked at the last 10 years of research on heart disease, which is the number one killer of women, participants who were female were fewer than 40% of the population. Women historically were underrepresented, understudied, and that led to undertreatment, underdiagnosis, and poor outcomes. So today we have a really exciting report, the first of its kind, that was put out by WHAM, Women's Health Access Matters, and supported by the American Heart Association, that actually looked for the first time at the economic opportunities and the imperative to invest more funds in women's research, particularly in the area of coronary artery disease, blockages of the heart, of arteries that can cause heart attacks. And the study showed that it's fascinating that even modest increases in the amount of funding that we give to women's heart health research can have enormous economic and societal impact. Women live longer, they live free of heart disease longer, they stay in the workforce longer. The actual investment and the outcome, the economic value is extraordinary.
Wow. What are some of the unique life stages that put women at an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, Dr. Rosen?
Yeah, so imagine if it took an act of Congress for us to include women's cells, women rats in research. Our male model led to terrible outcomes for women and the economic impacts of that. Women are not small men with pesky hormones. We know that pregnancy issues can impact on a woman's risk of heart disease, timing of menopause, even some of the traditional risk factors, something like diabetes, can be very different, a more potent risk factor, we call it, in women. And if we don't look at women differently and fund the research to really understand this, we keep women underrepresented, underdiagnosed, and undertreated.
Makes sense. What can women do? What can we do to make sure that our heart is healthy?
Well, I think some of the important things is knowing that all women have risk factors for heart disease, virtually all, and that 80+% of heart disease is preventable. So starting even in your 20s and 30s, know your risks for heart disease, go for regular checkups, and make life choices that are important. The way we eat and exercise and sleep all have an
Mhm.
impact on our life's history with regard to heart disease.
Susan, you had a life-threatening heart episode in 2018. What's your message for women today? And you were very, very public with that, which I think helped a lot of people.
Oh, thank you for saying that. That was my wish. My wish was to use my platform to get the message out to women, to pass my good luck on. Because what happened to me 3 years ago, almost to the day, was that I was having, twice before I paid attention, some chest pains, and twice I ignored it and thought, oh, as most women do, oh, it'll go away. It's nothing. Most of us do that. But the third time I couldn't ignore it. I went to the hospital and discovered that I had blockage in two of my arteries, 90% blockage in my main artery and 75% blockage in an adjacent artery. This
Wow.
was, yes, a tremendous shock to both me and to the doctor, because my diet has been very healthy. I mean, the doctor said to me too, I know from your husband, you eat kale, so I was pretty healthy. I work out almost every day doing Pilates, so that my routine was very, very healthy. So it's an example that don't ignore your symptoms. What happened to me could happen to anyone. Um, Women typically do not put themselves on their to-do list. I almost didn't go to the hospital because I thought I have too much to do that day. And I would say to women, if your body is not behaving the way you know it normally does, put yourself way at the top of that to-do list and get yourself to the doctor. Dr. Rosen was mentioning that a lot of times women's heart health issues go undiagnosed, largely because of the lack of research, but also because it's typically regarded as a male disease. And I have met so many other survivors during the course of my time with the American Heart Association and the Go Red for Women movement, who literally had to convince the doctor to give them a test to find out what was wrong with their heart, because they knew something was up. So be aware of your symptoms, do something about it, and be tenacious. You know what you know about your own body. Also be
Mhm.
aware of your own health risks. For myself, I think that knowing family history is very important. I didn't pay attention to that. My dad had passed away of a heart attack, and I should have been more aware of that. Of course, I adored my father, and I was aware how much I missed him, but I wasn't aware of the DNA correspondence to my DNA. And so I did inherit that. Not a cholesterol block up. My diet was good, and I didn't have that. Uh, but I had a calcium blockage, and that I inherited from my dad. So those are things that can be important. And the other thing I would say is join Dr. Rosen and me on Go Red for Women. That's the website, goredforwomen.org/research funding. Because as it is now, only 17% of the National Health Research budget, 17 cents is allocated for women's research, $4 is allocated for men's research. Not that we want to take anything away from these men, but we want the women to have equal representation, because we are all part of each other's lives.
That's
And the
right.
economy also is dependent on 52% of us being in the workforce.
I think it's so important, everything that you both have said today. And Susan, looking at you and everybody, I mean, everybody knows you and the fact that you're so healthy that you eat, and we'll say you eat kale, but we know you eat healthy and that you exercise, and it can happen to that. We want people to know that it can happen to anyone, big or small, it doesn't matter. So we all need to listen to our bodies and take extra care. And thank God that you did.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. If I had been home, Dr. Rosen and I were talking about this, if I had been home alone, because this happened in the middle of the day, I would have thought, oh, I just need to lay down for a while, maybe drink some water and lay down. And I found out from the doctor I probably would not have gotten up.
Oh, wow. Well, thank God you did. And thank God we're spreading the word about this. So for more information, go Red for Women.
GoRedForWomen.org / research funding.
Okay, let's get that funding up. We need to get that funding up. Emmy Award winning actress Susan Lucci. Oh my God, I wish we had more time. And Dr. Stacey Rosen, medical expert. Susan, you have to come back because we have to talk about all my children and those times. And please come back again and let's chat about that. And thank you for bringing awareness to this, and we'll get the word out there. Thank you both so much. And Susan, feel good. All of us feel good and take care of ourselves.
Wonderful, Wendy. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
for
Wendy.
having us.
Thank you both so much. Coming up is an episode featuring the founder of Milk Bar, Christina Tosi. We're talking everything Milk Bar and so much more. You won't want to miss this episode of What's Up with Wendy. I'm so excited for my guest today, author of 3 best-selling books, award-winning pastry chef, founder of Milk Bar. Welcome to my show, Christina Tosi.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I'm so happy to be here with you.
You have no idea how long I have been waiting for this interview.
Stop.
Yes, I'm such a fan, and I can't wait for you to share your story, the backstory of the Milk Bar with us. And how have you been during this pandemic? And small businesses, God bless them, have been hit so hard, and you know all too well about that.
Yeah. I mean, I started Milk Bar in November of 2008, so 12 years ago. That was in the middle of the economic crisis of 2008, which was an uphill battle in and of itself. Certainly nothing that compares 12 years later to what we've all been through this year in 2020. I mean, building Milk Bar and growing Milk Bar has most certainly been, it's been one of the most joyful things and also one of the most challenging things, the most challenging thing I've ever done in life. But I also think that's the spirit of being an entrepreneur and growing a small business. The team at Milk Bar and myself, we've been baking up a storm. I mean, we're incredibly grateful for the opportunity to show up in people's lives right now, whether it's on their doorsteps because they're not leaving their homes, or in the aisles of grocery stores, or, some of them even order on-demand delivery if they're in New York or Washington, D.C. or Los Angeles or Boston. But, it's most certainly been a challenge in flexibility and trying new things on for size. And I'm just grateful to have the opportunity and the business that, is able to bake and bring joy and spread some sweetness in people's lives when they might need it most.
Especially when we need comfort food and everything comfort during this time. It's been a trying time for so many. Small businesses hit especially hard. We're all in the unknown. We're all in this together. Scary, right?
It's every day. Honestly, being a small business owner, being an entrepreneur, you have to sort of enjoy the reality that every day you're going to wake up and you're going to be faced with a new challenge, and that challenge is going to be different. But most certainly, I think the realities that we're seeing hit the larger parts of our world make it even more challenging. And I think you have to have a fearlessness to do what we do. But it's not easy. It's not easy. And small businesses all over need every bit of support from consumers and from brands like Ball Home Canning, the makers of Ball Home Canning products, to really think about how to keep them supported and moving forward in this time.
What have you learned that small businesses are doing during this time to keep afloat?
I mean, it's all about flexibility. It's all about really asking yourself, where is my community and how do I show up?